there.
Well, hello and welcome back. I'm Dr. Ken Berry. This is Neisha Solace-Berry RN. This is the next edition of Monday Night Live, and we are here to give you hope, to give you inspiration, to give you information, to combat misinformation, and to help you live a happier, healthier, more active, virile, vigorous, and potent life.
You're new. Welcome. We do this every Monday night. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, and we try to get to as many questions as we can. This is obviously not medical advice because you are watching YouTube
and Rumble and Twitter and Facebook.
That too. But we do our best to help you guys be able to go into your provider's office and advocate for yourself, because that's where change is made, there and in your house. You know what's coming up?
What's coming up?
A new year.
A new year.
You know what? A new year, same you. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, this new year, new you, that's bullshit. That's never going to work. It hasn't worked for you how many years in a row? It's not going to work this year. It's new year, old you, but with slow, steady
progress, consistency, change those habits, acknowledge your weaknesses and your strengths, play into that. But don't go into the new year thinking your fantasy self will all of a sudden become a reality. You have to just work with what you got, guys.
Absolutely.
Okay?
So here's a question from Melissa that I want to answer. Melissa says, if we fell off the wagon, what's the best and fastest way to fix the gut microbiome? Is it Dr. Berg's yogurt? Yes, it's Dr. Berg's yogurt. That is the solution. No, Melissa, honey, no, I'm not being mean to you. But so many people in Western society, in English-speaking countries, think, oh, if I've had something bad happen, or if I've done something bad, or if I've been bad, I must pay for that. I must buy a product. I must somehow serve penance. I must say the rosary. I must pay for this. No, you don't have to add anything. You don't have to spend a penny to get back on the wagon. You just fast for as long as you can. And when you get truly hungry, your very next meal, when you break that fast, you start eating a proper human diet filled with proper human foods. That's literally all you have to do. You don't have to buy a single product to get back on the wagon.
I don't think that's a product. I think that you make the yogurt, but also you don't have to put in that much effort. Just like you have to start eating real food again.
Yeah, I'd love to see in the comments, I would love to see your rational New Year's resolutions. And I do not want you to have more than 3, because if you got more than 3, you're not going to do that.
Y'all who are in the pro group, the PhD pro group, have already been making your list of realistic goals.
Realistic goals for 2025. Tell me your top 3 in the comments, and be realistic. If you're typing it in like, I ain't going to do that, then don't type it. Don't make that part of your New Year's resolution if you're not going to do it. We just broke Neisha's computer. Brian says, thanks for everything. This is why we do what we do, so you guys can improve your health, both physical health and mental health. It's all improvable with food. I don't care how old you are right now. I don't care how sick you are right now. You can improve. You can get better. It may be slower than you'd like for it to be. It may not be magical. It may not be miraculous. But slow, steady progress is possible, starting from where you're at right this moment in time. So pay attention and ask questions. You got it back up and running over there?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, David. He said more happy time in the bedroom.
Oh, that's a great one.
That's a good goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are strategies that can make that happen. And there are other strategies, perhaps anti-strategies, that will make that less likely to happen. So, choose your strategies wisely. Where did Joanna? Joanna said she's going to lift weights for muscle building. Sarcopenia is real. Sarcopenia is muscle loss. As you get older, it's absolutely real. But Joanna's exactly right. If she starts lifting weights, even if they're just 1 pound weights right now, and then 2 pounds, and then 3 pounds, she can build new muscle. She can actually become more muscular now at 63 than she's probably been her entire life, with enough consistent, steady progress, steady work. Keep us updated, Joanna. I want to see how this goes. What do you got over there, woman? You got any good ones?
Diane says, work in the pro challenge. That's good. So those of you who are like, what are you talking about? If you go to the link in the description, it's PhDhealth.community, and if you join the Pro Plus Challenge, we're doing a consistency challenge in January, but this is going to run all year. And you get my planner for free. And there's already videos in there. When you get in, you can watch them and catch up. You can start at any time. And we're just setting realistic goals and sticking to them for 30 days, not 365 days. We're taking out a little bite the 30 days, and we're doing a lot of check-ins. We're doing some homework. We're sharing recipes. We're sharing what we eat in a day. We're sharing all kinds of stuff in there to hold each other accountable to our goals, and everybody's goals are different. It's not a carnivore challenge, although there's many people in there doing carnivore for January. But if you're not doing carnivore, that's fine. It's just making a list of food boundaries, movement boundaries, and stress management. Not getting rid of stress, because you just can't do that.
That's right.
But you can manage your stress. And so we're just building those habits throughout the year, starting with 30 days.
Jason says, why do you never mention lamb or pork?
Well, that's so funny, because we do all the time.
Yeah, we do all the time, Jason. You maybe haven't been with us long enough. Lamb is a ruminant meat. We actually have a huge lamb roast that our friend Melissa prepared for us, which is divine. Oh, my God. It's so good. Lamb is a ruminant, just like beef. Lamb is perfection. Many people who have a slight histamine reaction to beef can eat lamb with no problem at all. Now, that's very rare. Don't think, histamine's beef. What? No, calm down. It's super rare, but some people have it, and they can eat lamb or goat when they can eat aged beef. But we talk about lamb all the time. Now, pork is a monogastric animal, meaning it doesn't have the multi-chambered magical stomach of a ruminant like a cow or a sheep. Magical, yes. Anything that's science that you don't understand and can't explain is magic.
Sure.
Until you can explain it and understand it.
We actually raise sheep here on our farm.
And we post pictures of the lambs. I just posted a little video today in the private group. We've got 15 little baby lambs now. I counted them today.
Cute.
They're so funny.
We do not harvest them till they're like 3 years old. So don't get work. People are like, you eat lamb?
We eat mutton.
No.
Yeah, we eat mutton.
No.
Yeah.
They're grown and ready to go to lamb heaven.
Yes, absolutely. I like for them to be big. I don't like to eat them when they're little. There's not enough meat.
It's ridiculous to do that.
It's silly. It may be a little more tender.
Beth says, why can we eat onions on carnivore? If not, then why? Because onions are plants or root vegetables. And carnivore is, if you're doing it in the purest form, only animal products. So only meat, eggs. Some people allow for dairy. But a plant is not allowed in carnivore.
Because it's not an animal.
Also, can we have sourdough? Definitely not on carnivore. Now, there's some people who eat sourdough from time to time. They make it themselves, and if they can handle that, fine, whatever. But it's definitely not carnivore, and it's not low carb, and it's not keto or whatever. But it is it's better than store-bought bread.
It is. I think it's the least bad.
It's the least bad
of any bread.
Yeah.
But I don't ever eat bread. Neisha does rarely. But if you're going to eat bread, eat homemade sourdough. Get a starter from a friend. If you want some bread once a week or something, it's probably not a huge deal.
Now, it's not in the house or anything. I have friends and cousins that they make sourdough, and they actually brought me some for Christmas, and I definitely did eat that.
Jack Reynolds says, hi, both currently keto and childless at 36 in the UK, still open. Sometimes worry I have waited too long. Best ways to optimize fertility in the late 30s or 40s or beyond. So the best strategy is to eat a proper human diet full of fatty red meat, eggs with the yolk, fatty seafood. This is for a man, is going to improve sperm motility and increase sperm count and improve just the overall fitness of your sperm. That's going to increase your ability to reproduce. For women, the same thing. It gets rid of any PCOS. It gets rid of any ovarian or fallopian tube inflammation. And in many cases, that's the only thing that's keeping you from getting pregnant. So more and more fertility specialists are recommending fatty red meat, heavy, very low-carb diets to help people get pregnant. Thank you, Jay Pritch. This is Jen. Is this normal? Back in August, I started severely restricting. I don't know what you mean by that. I was even diagnosed with atypical anorexia nervosa Last month, I started back on keto, and my body is holding on to everything I eat. Not sure how to answer this, Jen. Definitely follow up with your healthcare provider if you've been diagnosed with an eating disorder. There's nothing about keto or carnivore that's going to encourage or cause an eating disorder. So either keto or carnivore would be the option. Michelle Hearn, a good friend of ours who's a registered dietitian who used to suffer from an eating disorder, used a high-fat carnivore diet to completely put it in remission. So you might want to follow Michelle Hearn, H-U-R-N. She likes to answer people's questions.
David says, thoughts on eating raw eggs?
As long as the egg is uncracked and is fresh, I think it's perfectly safe and perfectly fine to eat it. There is some limited research that a protein called avidin in the white of the egg might cause some hair loss in men. This is not proven. I typically eat my eggs with the white cooked and the yolk as runny as possible.
We also eat raw egg yolks on top of our steaks, on top of our ground beef. We add butter to it and we call it redneck hollandaise sauce.
Yeah, it's so good.
We put
do you have a video on your channel?
Yeah,
it's so good.
One of my what I eat in a day that I posted in December has me making that.
Redneck hollandaise. It takes what, 3 minutes?
If that.
2 minutes, and it is amazing. It's so good. So yeah, try it out. Hey Holly, thank you very much. James P, thank you very much. Here's Chris Cook in Nashville. Happy New Year. Thank you both 1 million times.
We love Chris. He is also in the PhD community. He does some cooking demos for us in there, and he has so many videos here on YouTube of keto and carnivore recipes. He just did. Chris, didn't you just do a noodle recipe? Carnivore noodles or something? Yes, he did.
Carnivore noodles. Check it out on Chris Cooking Nashville. Teresa, thank you very much. Vicky, is it true that Synthroid is connected with a larger chance of cancer? I also read that Hashimoto's people also have a higher risk of cancer. I have Hashi's and on Synthroid for 40 years. I haven't read any research that links Synthroid with any meaningful increased risk of cancer. People with uncontrolled Hashimoto's definitely have a slightly increased risk of thyroid cancer. But most people who get that under control with their diet, plus or minus medications, no longer have to worry about that.
Potato chips, that's what I was thinking.
Carnivore potato chips?
I haven't got to watch it yet, but I'm excited to see what you've come up with. He's a magician in the kitchen.
Dulcie's got a question for Neisha. Can I be on carnivore while breastfeeding?
Yes, but if you were not carnivore while you were pregnant, if you were standard American diet or even like low carb, just make sure that you're lowering your carbs slowly over like 6 weeks to get back to carnivore. That way, it's because of the fluid shift that can drop your breast milk supply temporarily. But if you want to just like stay safe, just lower those carbs slowly over 6 weeks. Make sure you're keeping your salt and electrolytes up, eating plenty of fatty cuts of meat. Don't be eating no chicken breasts, okay? I want you eating fatty meat. Do not fast. Eat when you're hungry. Eat as much as you like. Do not worry about weight loss while you're breastfeeding. Some women lose a lot while they're breastfeeding. Some women don't lose any until they stop breastfeeding. So just keep that in mind. It has nothing to do with you doing anything wrong. It's just hormones. But yeah, it's completely safe to do carnivore.
And in way of evidence supporting what Neisha just said, there are multiple examples in the anthropological literature of tribes living for millennia in areas of the world where all they had was fatty meat. That's literally all they had to eat. Maybe 1 month out of the year, there might be a few small berries, but the rest of them. And so when those women had their babies, and we know they had to have babies, they had to successfully breastfeed them or they would be extinct, and they're not extinct. So we know that you can make beautifully nutritious breast milk on a meat-only diet.
While we're talking about pregnancy, Nick also has a question. What do you recommend for prenatal supplements? While I was pregnant with Bonnie, that was 2 years ago, I did not take a prenatal supplement. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just telling you what I did because I think that they're a gimmick. But I did take a liver supplement, and I took folate, which is what you need to take, not folic acid, folate. But Ancestral Supplements makes a really good liver supplement. We have a discount code link in the description. If you're going to take a supplement, especially if you're pregnant, I think liver is probably the way to go, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Desiccated liver, that's probably the best one that you can take because liver is literally a superfood, multivitamin, multimineral.
There's just we didn't have prenatal vitamins for thousands of years, and all of a sudden, like we needed a special supplement when we were pregnant. Like I said, this is just what I didn't take a prenatal with Beckett either, but I was a lot more careful with, like I did vitamin D3 K2. Also, I did iodine, low liver. I ate a lot of raw meat. Also.
You did iodine with mine too.
I did iodine.
If you're going to get pregnant, are breastfeeding, you need iodine, because if you're getting enough iodine, you're going to put iodine in your breast milk, and your baby needs that for IQ development. It's very, very important. Here's a great comment, guys. Stop what you're doing and pay attention to this. Nova Storm, pain associated with ankylosing spondylitis, which is a severe autoimmune arthritis, now entirely gone after a year. After 30 years of suffering, thanks for all you do. This is the power of and I'm sure this was a carnivore diet, but I've seen people get much pain improvement with ankylosing spondylitis, with rheumatoid arthritis, with psoriatic arthritis, with a meat-heavy keto diet or ketovore or carnivore. If you know somebody with ankylosing spondylitis, take a screenshot of this comment and tell them there's hope. There's hope. You don't have to suffer like this for the rest of your life. Thank you for that very much, Nova Storm. April, need to speak to a Parkinson's audience soon. Your advice on carnivore-style diet if a patient is on levodopa. So levodopa is one of the prescription medications that doctors prescribe for patients with Parkinson's. The problem with levodopa is it only works for a while. Then you up the dose, then you have to stop it. They have to take a drug holiday where their symptoms are not treated at all. Then you start back over to lower dose. We've had multiple people with Parkinson's, April, reach out to us and say, my symptoms are much less severe when I'm on meat-heavy keto or carnivore. And this also goes for Huntington's and several other neurological conditions as well. Thank you for that. Mike, thank you very much. Vicky, do you really have a sale on your PhD guidebook? So
you don't even know.
The PhD guidebook is free.
I'm going to tell you.
If somebody's reached out to you and says, hey, you can buy this, listen to Neisha.
So the PhD guidebook is free. You don't have to pay for anything. So if you go to the link, it's drberry.com/guidebook. You can download the PDF. All you do is put your email in. Then it's going to offer you a course where Dr. Berry will walk you through the guidebook for an hour.
In a video. Yeah.
Yes. Not personally.
I'm not going to come to your house.
That is on sale right now for, I think, $2.50. So if you want to get that, you totally can. But if you just want the guidebook, it's totally free. When you get to the course, you can just hit like skip at the bottom of the screen and it'll just bypass that. But if you want that, it's only $2.50 now. Usually it's $9.99. It's an hour long. He loves to talk, so you get a whole hour of him just diving into that guidebook.
Yeah. Snooky, male, 43, 4 months carnivore, ADHD, skin, eyesight improved. All those things improved. Lost 1 kilo and 3 centimeters around my waist. BMI is 21.3. 3-month blood work. Trigs are 825, which is still too high. Were you fasting when you had your trigs checked? You got to be fasting for that. HDL 64, which is good. A1C 5.8, which is closer to normal, but still just a smidge high. ALT 47, still high. That's going to get better as the months go on. Protein in the urine. So you need to have your kidneys completely evaluated for chronic kidney disease or other kidney issues. Also, 664 fatty liver tips. Yeah, stay carnivore and recheck all this in 3 months. Typically within 3 to 6 months, all this stuff is back to normal.
Also, make sure, this happens a lot. I get emails a lot about this. Make sure you check your email when you put it in to get the free guidebook or the course. Make sure you typed in your email correctly, because that's where it's going to go. So if you put Dr. Berry 711 and really it's Dr. Berry 712 at Gmail. That's not a real. Do not send an email there. Okay, that's not.
Go ahead, send one. I don't care.
Whatever. We're not going to get it. It's going to go to the wrong email. So double check your email. Make sure it's the correct email, because that happens more than you would think. Just see people get in a hurry and just check.
Jeffrey says, thank you, Dr. Berry. You've extended my life by 40 years. I'm a home health RN. I'm selling the Proper Human Diet to offer diabetes reversal while doing diabetic wound care. Nice. There are so many nurses and other paramedical people doing this. They have used the Proper Human Diet to transform their health. Why would you not? teach your patients. So she's doing home visits for people with diabetic ulcers and after diabetic amputations. And she's like, hey, you can actually reverse all this. You don't have to be suffering from this at all. That's beautiful, Jeffrey. I love that. That's awesome. Can't wait for the American Diabetes Society to be online to print and distribute real guidelines. It is coming in 2025. Jeffrey, stay tuned.
Oh, I just saw it.
Okay, find it. I'll do Lord.
Okay.
Hello, you two. Hope you're both feeling much better. We are. We still got a little expectoration going on. New year. I agree. Better to say new me until January 3.
Because that's how long it lasts.
That's right. Knowledge and consistency is key. It's a lifestyle change, not a resolution. That's right. You have to break old habits and form new habits, and that typically takes at least
a year.
Yeah.
It's to get them really set.
Where you don't even have to think about it.
All this 21-day BS. Okay? BS. 21 days, and then, four days later, you're back to doing the same thing.
That's why it helps so much to have support, to have people who've got your back, who can hold your hand through the tough spots, because it took you a long time to form these terrible habits you have.
Hold your hand or smack your hand.
That's right.
One of the two.
Give you a slap hug.
All right. Marissa's movie says, I started walking 3 miles 4 to 5 days a week, and I'm gaining weight. Why?
You're putting on muscle.
You're putting on muscle, and you probably have increased your appetite. So you're probably eating a little bit more. That's going to even out. That's a good thing, not a bad thing.
You're also increasing your bone strength, which is going to show up on the scale. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, just the number on the scale is not the end all be all.
Measure your inches.
Yes. TD. Father-in-law has a rare chondroma on spine in his neck. Surgery next week, then proton therapy, garbage diet. Any thoughts? Yeah, stop the garbage diet. If you can talk to your father-in-law and say, hey, I love you, stop poisoning your body. If you get him on a proper human diet, and if you don't know what that is, you can download a free copy of the guidebook. It's in the show notes. There's a link. But if you can get him on a proper human diet, not only is it going to help his body fight the chordroma, it's going to also help him heal from the surgery and help his body to tolerate the proton therapy. It's going to help him with every single step along this healing pathway. Yeah, but obviously he's a grown man. If he didn't want to, then you just got to love him and let him do what he wants to do. But try to lovingly explain it to him. This is a big deal. We want to keep you around for a long time.
The lovely Tebow says, are tuna steaks great for carnivore? Sure, as long as they're sourced appropriately. And if they're not, eat what you can afford, right? But if you're going out of your way to eat a tuna steak, get a really good high quality one.
And for those of you who can't afford tuna steak, tuna in the can, in water, is one of the best sources of protein on planet Earth. They usually use the smaller tuna to put in the can because they can't make steaks out of them. Therefore, it's lower in mercury than some of the larger, beautiful steaks. Steve, 1 year on carnivore, yay. Notice some YouTube carnivore chefs who look overweight. Can you gain weight on this diet? No, most of those people, if you could go back in time and look at them a year ago or 2 years ago, some of them have lost almost half their body weight. They may still be a little overweight because they're still on this journey. We're all on a journey. Are you where you want to be, Steve? Exactly where you want to be? I doubt it. I'm not where I want to be. Neisha's not where she wants to be. She's happy where she is, but she's not. If she could snap her fingers, I guarantee you, we'd all make improvements, right? Here and there, a little tuck, a little nip, whatever. But we can't snap our fingers. All we can do is do the best we can do each day. And that's what we're all doing.
Real quick. I see a lot of you saying something about the ads. YouTube has changed some things in the last 30 days. They always do this at the end of the year. They revamp ads. We have no control over that in the middle of this live stream, but we'll
they're showing up right now?
Yeah. But I'll try to fix that after the fact that you're not getting an ad every 2 minutes. Just a reminder, if you're in the pro community, there are no ads for the videos that we post in there. It's just the live stream.
Sherry, can too much iodine cause weight gain? No. Recently upped my iodine to 14 drops of 2% Lugol solution and gained 4 pounds in a week. That's water weight. That's going to come back off, Sherry. All women, you look to be in your 30s. All women in their 30s, you're going to go up or down 2 to 4 pounds, depending on where you're at in your cycle. This is water weight. Don't worry about that. Nancy, what's the best thing to do if you get diarrhea when beginning keto? So anytime you start a diet, there's a risk of getting diarrhea. Just do an internet search for vegan diet diarrhea. All these articles about that. If you go vegan, you get diarrhea. If you go carnivore, you might get diarrhea. any dietary change could give you a few days of diarrhea. It's not a big deal. It goes away. Just continue eating your keto diet or your carnivore diet, keto for you. I love watching you guys. Thank you very much. Yes, my pleasure, Nancy. Just keep going. It's going to go away. This is a self-correcting problem. Kuba Tordolf. What have you heard about psoriatic arthritis going into remission using diets such as keto or carnivore? Do you have any suggestions so that biologic medications don't have to be used? Yeah, like I said earlier, Kuba, we've had multiple people, some with quite severe psoriatic arthritis, reach out to us. And 90% of them said carnivore. A few said meat heavy keto, but most of them said carnivore. Man, it's like I don't even have arthritis some days. Now, they still have occasional flare-ups, but their flare-ups are much less frequent and much less severe. And I would opine that their progression, it getting worse and worse, slows way down. And so, yeah, if you've got psoriatic arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, or any of the other arthritides, you need to be on a carnivore diet at least for 90 days. And then if you want to experiment with keto or ketovore, you can. Absolutely. David, daughter that had severe nausea as ICU director, switched to Ketovore list, lost 30 pounds, and was able to stop all meds. Thanks. Like and share, folks. It works. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up or the heart yet, please do that. That's what David's asking you to do. And then also, please share this video. You can share it in an email or a text message with one person, or you can share it on your social media. Indeed, that's how many of you guys watching this right now found us. Is somebody shared this and you said, hey, who are these rednecks making jokes? It's us. And we're helping people improve their health. So thank you, David. I love it that you're spreading the word. Esteli, battling candida overgrowth. Natural Doc says carnivore is good, but not enough to flush out all candida from body long term. What are your thoughts? So if you had candida in your bloodstream, in your body, all over, you would be in the intensive care unit. Okay, this is not a real thing. Some naturopaths, some herbal doctors get real excited and tell people, oh, you've got candida all in your, no. You would either be dead or in the intensive care unit. You might have candida overgrowth, but when you go carnivore, that's going to be gone within 30 to 60 days. Okay, just like small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, it's gone within a month or two of going carnivore because the bacteria, they have to have sugar to survive in your ileum. And once the sugar's gone, they're gone and you don't have SIBO anymore.
Shauna says, when you're sick with a cold, flu, or COVID, do you need to change your diet up at all or include more carbs? Probably the opposite of including more carbs.
Yeah, that's not going to help at all.
Fasting or doing a bone broth fast, meaning like you just drink bone broth until you're feeling where you can eat real food, real meat, and eggs and things like that. This
is a great time to follow your hunger. And so anytime you're sick and you're not hungry, don't eat. That's your body literally telling you don't eat. So, but a lot of people are like, well, I don't have an appetite, so I'm just going to eat some vanilla wafers or some crackers or some Campbell's chicken noodle soup. Who the hell knows what's in that? Maybe some chicken, maybe, who knows? But if you're not hungry and you're sick, just don't eat. That's exactly what your body needs you to do. It helps your body fight the illness. Mama Jack, been on proper human diet for a few years now. Past few weeks, the thought of meat is making me sick and I'm craving carbs. Could it be due to perimenopause? 100%. 46, no health issues, getting by on hard-boiled eggs. Yeah, and you'll go through periods like this depending on where your hormones are at, where you're like, I don't want any lamb. I don't want any beef. I just want to eat eggs and seafood. That's carnivore too. That's totally fine. That's why I want you guys to know about all the different carnivore options. What I predict will happen, Mama Jack, is in a few weeks, you'll be like, you know what be good? Some hamburgers. And you'll be back on beef. Don't sweat it. Anything over there?
Go ahead.
David, I suspect a lot of people being fat is actually being swollen from inflammation. Absolutely. If I cheat and eat a little red sauce or sugar, I gain a few pounds fast. It is not weight from the food, but puffiness. It's fluid. That's exactly right. Yes, when the food causes inflammation, that causes your insulin to go up, and that causes you to hold fluid. Or you eat too many carbs, that causes your insulin to go up. That causes you to hold fluid. So we all, especially you women, because you're the ones that worry about this a little bit more than men. If you ate something stupid and you gained 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds overnight, That's not fat. That's just fluids. Get immediately back on your proper human diet. Forgive yourself. And also promise yourself you're not going to do that dumb thing again. And the fluid will be gone in a few days. It's not fat. David's exactly right. Cameron, growth question. I just recently started carnivore, and every time I eat, I will be hit hard with watery stool. I cannot control when. Will this go away? Typically, it's a week or two, and then it's gone, Cameron. So if it lasts longer than 2 weeks, go see your doctor because it may be completely unrelated
Or maybe it's
to your diet.
Cameron.
Cameron or Cameron. I don't know.
Or maybe it's Cameron.
Carnivore for future. Hey, how's it going? Worked near 1 year at my new work. Now, not a single day sick, not a common cold in 3 years. We hear this from carnivores all the time. We got sick this year. It's the first time in a long time that we caught a little virus. But we got 2 babies in the house. So.
Yeah, they literally cough in our face, like into our mouth.
Yeah, but on average, we catch viruses and colds and flus, 80%, 90% one time a year, really? If that. Yeah, 5.5-year carnivore, lost 400 pounds, and over 20 diseases and allergies are gone. It takes time to heal. Takes time to heal.
Thank you for sharing.
Have patience. Eat a proper human diet. Repeat. Have patience. Patience. Have patience.
Cash says a bit of nuts allowed on carnivore, like walnuts and pecans. Guys, if it's carnivore that you are going for, then if it is a plant, it is not allowed.
Now, there are some nuts allowed on carnivore, but they were previously attached to an animal.
Those are testicles. Not
yes,
nuts.
They are carnivore though. If you want them, you can eat them.
But please don't, or do whatever. But
that's fine.
Listen, you don't have to do carnivore. If you want to include nuts, fine. But just know that if you are someone who is sensitive to nuts, every time I say nuts, it's
going to cancel a lot of your benefits. Yeah.
No, I say nuts, and everybody's going to think of your nuts that you were talking about just now. I can't even.
They're not mine specifically. They're just.
Just know it may slow your progress, especially if you're replacing other foods with a huge amount of nuts.
Yeah.
Because that's snacky and ancestrally we had to work hard to get those.
Yeah. You can eat the nuts that grow on the animal, but not these nuts that grow on the tree. Margie, I'm pretty new to carnivore and hoping for the best. I have hypothyroidism, adrenal fatigue, and high blood pressure. Should I cut out butter and salt? Absolutely not. Salt your food to taste. Don't oversalt it, but also don't undersalt it. Salt is good for you. You need it every day. Butter is a health food. Butter will help you lower your blood sugar and lower your insulin, which will help get down the blood pressure. Okay? Butter is not bad for you. Butter is good for you. Good questions tonight. Ebony, parents both in their late 70s. Dad recently had a stent installed for an 80% blockage. Mom on statins, have foot issues with edema. How can a carnivore help? By the way, wife and I carniversary January 25th. Beautiful. So you guys know a lot of the ways carnivore can help. But specifically for your parents, is your dad pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic? Because most dads in their 70s who have heart artery blockages have some degree of diabetes. It's going to completely reverse that. Does he have fatty liver? It'll reverse that. Does he have high blood pressure? It'll help improve that, lower that back down towards normal. Mom's on statins. Why? Did she have a heart attack in the past? If not, the research doesn't really support that she take that. If she has edema, then a carnivore diet or even a meat-heavy keto diet is going to help her edema tremendously. Does she have poor kidney function? It's going to improve that. Does she have poor liver function? It's going to improve that too. Yes, it's going to help your parents. If they're willing now, don't force it on them, but try your best to diplomatically talk them into it. Mike, the carnivore, Bigfoot, 62-year-old male, tribe member, PhD, carnivore 14 months, never could eat liver. Got my new start eating it with good, clean, old-fashioned liver cheese. Now I crave beef liver. Yeah, liver cheese, liver loaf, Braunschweiger, liver pate, liver mousse. These are all good gateway liver foods. If you can't just sit down and eat a raw piece of beef liver, don't beat yourself up. A lot of people hate that. Start out with some liver mousse. Start out with liver pate. Start out with liver cheese. Then you can work your way up to it. And if you're able to eat those kinds of livers, great. But if not, there is a supplement that will get you by until you can learn to like liver. Do you know what that is?
What?
Neisha wasn't listening.
I listened to him talk about this. How many years have we been doing live Q&As?
A lot of years.
Like 7 years. Like, you know how many times I've heard him answer the same question over and over again?
Can you guys tell when your spouse is pretending to listen but not really listening? I don't normally call it.
I still feel like trash, okay? I'm here.
Gage Donner, wife has chronic kidney stones. Are they calcium oxalate stones? If not, your doctor should know. Yes or no, are they? Did they send one to pathology? If not, they should immediately send one so you know what kind of stone she's making. And is told that too much antioxidants is bad for her. What the hell? Her kidneys don't process calcium properly. No, it's the oxalates. It's not the calcium. And the dietary needs conflict with her PCOS. So I have a YouTube video about PCOS. It will also help her form fewer stones as well. She probably needs to be on the carnivore diet. She has an oxalate problem, not a calcium problem. Her doctor is currently ignorant, and that's okay. You can still work with that doctor and help teach them, but it's not a calcium problem. This is ignorance speaking out of a doctor's mouth. Jennifer, 67-year-old carnivore, eating plenty, still freezing at 74 degrees. Are you taking iodine? Are you eating iodine-rich foods? That is the most common cause of this. Get a full thyroid panel check just to make sure you don't have undiagnosed thyroid.
Are you eating enough too? I swear some people fast in their freezers. Like, well, yeah, eat something.
And it's usually women. They just think, oh, I'm just going to eat a small portion. No. Eat till you're full. If
you're hungry,
eat till you're full. Eat till you're full. Jimmy, having ulcerative colitis, proctitis, doing carnivore for 2 months, dairy, eggs, meat, most symptoms gone. So anybody have ulcerative colitis? Listen to Jimmy. Expect 2 to 3 loose, slightly bloody stools a day. Should I change to join line diet? And I just keep doing carnivore and get rid of the dairy. The dairy is what's causing you to still have the little bit of inflammation that you're having. It's the dairy. I'm dropping a new video on YouTube, on Rumble, and on Twitter tomorrow about cheese and dairy and why it's so habit forming, why it's almost like it's addictive. It is. And I'm going to explain it to you tomorrow. So be watching for that. If you're not already subscribed to wherever you're watching right now, hit the subscribe button so you get a notification.
It's your fault.
I know. And Bonnie and Beckett's fault. Carnog, GB Dane. Hi, my trigs have increased from 132 to 186 on carnivore. I fasted 13 hours and had no coffee. Any reason for this? So your triglycerides can go up or down for just about as many reasons as your blood sugar can go up or down. I would just repeat this in a month to 3 months. This is probably an anomaly. Could have been a lab error, but probably not. It looks like a rational increase. You probably had something going on in your metabolism that you're not even aware of. Rechecking in 3 months, it'll be back to normal. X. Hey, Dr. B and Neisha, 62-year-old male, Crohn's since 1975. Currently have 2 draining pus blood anal fistulas. Will a PhD heal the fistulas? Thanks for all you do. 100% X. You need to be carnivore. 100%. You need to be high-fat carnivore and give it time. Lightning. I am taking high blood pressure pills. Is it safe to go off them on carnivore? So first thing you're going to do is buy a blood pressure cuff and start checking your blood pressure. You're going to check it properly because most doctors' offices don't do it right. I've got a YouTube video that teaches you how to check your blood pressure properly. You're going to start checking your blood pressure at least once, if not twice a day. And then when it gets low enough, you're going to talk to your doctor about either stopping one of the medicines or decreasing the dosage of one. And then you're going to keep checking your blood pressure. Most people who are taking 2 or 3 blood pressure medications can get completely off them, or they'll wind up on a low dose of just one after a few months on meat heavy keto or ketovore or carnivore. Woman, do you need to
go lay down,
do some jumping jacks?
No.
Kevin, male, 21 years old, fasting 18:6 every day and been eating an animal-based diet, Saladino, so this is including fruit and honey. Just got a CGM yesterday and saw my fasting glucose was around 105. To be honest, this is much higher than I expected. Should I be worried? Maybe, maybe not. Since you're 21 and I suspect you're pretty active, you maybe can get away with eating some fruit and some honey. but you may not need that. So a fasting blood sugar, if you're eating a high carb diet, is pretty accurate. But if you're eating an animal based diet, you need to get an A1C and a fasting insulin check every 3 months. And if your A1C is a little bit high, then you're eating too many carbs. You got to cut the carbs. But if your A1C is fine and your fasting insulin is fine and your HSCRP is fine, no sign of inflammation, then and you feel great and look great, then keep doing the diet you're doing.
Once I start, I can't stop.
Thank you, Clayton, very much. Andy, you want to read a question? That might help. 61-year-old male, stage 4 prostate cancer, carnivore since May of 24, lost 44 pounds, but PSA went from 32 up to 73. So it was already high when you started. Now it's up to 73. Is extra T causing PSA spike? No, you need to see your urologist, get whatever testing they recommend. You might need to start ADT. Stopping carnivore is not going to help anything, and depending on what you replace carnivore with, could actually feed the cancer. So you want to eat as low carb as you possibly can and follow your urologist's guidelines. You may or may not have prostate cancer. Sometimes prostatitis can cause this. So you just need to get a proper diagnosis before you know what to do next. You read that one.
Randy.
There you go. Act like you mean it.
I have treated silent reflux for 30 days.
Anybody, when you got choked as a kid, your mama did this, like that did some magic? Like they would shake your hands, hold your hands up.
Randy. I've treated silent reflux with 30-day stints of strict carnivore twice now with only minor improvement in symptoms. Is there anything you can say about silent reflux versus regular GERD? Yeah, so silent reflux means you don't have the classic heartburn symptoms. Some people have a chronic cough with it. You can have other symptoms with it. What you need to do, Randy, and every single person listening to this, if you have any kind of reflux, GERD, heartburn, you need to elevate the head of your bed 2 to 4 inches. I don't mean sleep on an extra pillow. I mean raise the headboard of the bed. Put 2 red bricks under each head post of the bed. Also, you said carnivore strict, but does that mean dairy free? If not, yeah, and then get the dairy out. Yeah, raise the head of the bed 2 to 4 inches. That's going to put gravity in your favor, and then get rid of the dairy and try carnivore again. I think you'll be very happy. Who is that? Amber Alert. Oh, Amber Alert. Uh-oh. Nick. Is diarrhea from colon cancer nonstop for a while? In some cases, yeah, it is. I've been dealing with it for a month now. 1 week fine, the next week, a few days in with diarrhea. Doctor says IBS. Maybe a lot of people, if they had colon cancer and have chemo or radiation therapy, that can cause chronic diarrhea. So it may be IBS. Either way, if you want to keep the cancer from coming back and get rid of the IBS, if it is IBS, go carnivore and stay carnivore. I'm very sorry. Yawning is contagious. Didn't you just read a book about that talked about what? Yeah. Like we don't know what it's contagious. It's evolutionarily conserved. Weird. Typically, you don't catch it from yourself, though. You catch it from somebody else. Like I yawn, then you yawn, but you yawn and then you yawn again. Saying the word yawn. A binder. Is it possible to use too much sea salt? Yes. I'm going to tell you how to never use too much salt, whether it's sea salt or rock salt. Here's how you don't use too much. If your food tastes too salty, you put too much salt. You use too much salt. If you salt your food to taste and you take a bite and you're like, oh, that's perfect, you did not use too much salt. That's literally how you can tell the difference. It's just that simple. Morgan McClellan. How would PhD or carnivore or keto impact milk supply when exclusively breastfeeding? I kind of already answered this, but if you were, whatever you were during your pregnancy, whether that was you just like ate whatever because you were struggling and like it's okay. But if you did eat high carb, then you can't just go from high carb to 20 grams of carbs. You just can't do that. It's not dangerous, but if you're wanting to breastfeed, if you've ever done keto before, there is a fluid shift, and breast milk is made of fluid that will cause your breast milk supply to do this weird dip thing. Okay. So, but if you just go slowly, so whatever you were doing while you're pregnant, slowly decrease those carbs over about 6 weeks, and you should be fine as long as you're eating plenty of fatty cuts of meat, keeping that salt and electrolyte intake up. Don't over drink water. Just drink when you're thirsty and add electrolytes in, and eat. Do not fast, and try to get as much sleep as possible. And the best way to increase milk supply, I didn't say this earlier, but keeping that baby on the booby. All right. Yeah. That is what boosts milk supply. It's a supply and demand. The more demand there is, the more supply there is. So just put baby to boob as much as possible. If you think that you're not getting enough letdown, you can also use a hand pump. If you're early, if it's been just 6 weeks since you had that baby, do not put an electric pump on. That's going to oversupply, and that sounds like a good thing till you get mastitis. Okay. Anyways, I talk about this more in a lot of my YouTube videos because I breastfed. And I was.
How can she find your YouTube videos?
Well, if my husband has linked my channel, I don't know.
It's linked in the show notes.
It's in the show notes, or you can just type in my name, which is just Neisha. You can see it right here. Neisha Berry, and that should pop my channel. Absolutely.
Here's Dr. Stephen Griffith. What do you know of carnivore helping with glaucoma and cataracts? My dad has a very mild form of both. I have prescribed him to go on carnivore. Yeah. So cataracts take years to form and develop, as you know, doctor, but also, so therefore it's going to take years for them before you can tell, are they regressing? Are they getting less? I think the victory with cataracts is to just stop any further progression. And I think that's what your dad will notice. You don't have to have anything done if you just have very mild cataracts. So if you stop the progression right now, they'll just stay like they are. They might regress as years go by, but there's not a blood supply to the lens of the eye. Therefore, nothing's going to happen quickly. Does that make sense? Then glaucoma, it depends on which kind of glaucoma he's got. There's 3 or 4 different kinds. Some are very amenable to carnivore. The pressures will come down pretty quickly, and others are more anatomical in nature, and he needs the drops. But whether he needs 1 drop or 3 drops, that might be the difference that carnivore makes. So I would absolutely recommend it. Nav says, how often can I eat cod liver? 1 can a day is absolutely fine. It's not going to hurt you. All you guys, I encourage you to try a can of cod liver. It comes in a can just like tuna, and it's, I think, 4 ounces. It's very delicate, and I like the taste of it with a little mustard or sauteed in some garlicky bacon grease. But 1 can a day, you're not going to hurt yourself at all.
We have had so many husbands asking about vitamins for their wives. Huzzah to you.
I love it, yes.
So I'll say one more time.
Yeah, talk about that one more time.
Liver supplements. These are ancestral supplements. We have a link in a discount code. And we have a bunch of discount codes below this video in the description. But if she wants to take a good supplement, this is a good one. Prenatals, if she wants to take them, cool. They're kind of all created equally. But this is the superfood. And folate, not folic acid, folate, vitamin D3, K2, and iodine. Do you have a pregnancy-specific iodine video?
No, we need to make one and put it on your channel. Yeah, that'd be a great video. What do you guys think? Should we do that on Neisha's channel? Are you subscribed to Neisha's channel?
There's so many videos I want to do with Kim, but then we're around each other so much. I'm like, I don't want to do a video. I talk to you enough.
All right, here's Jasper. My 21-year-old brother struggles with short-term memory issues and nasal breathing difficulties, relieved briefly by medication. Could inflammation or diet play a role? Huge role, 100%. I used to have severe allergies. The short-term memory loss issues are probably brain fog. He needs to go carnivore. He's 21-year-old guy. He's not going to have any trouble living on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Just tell him to do it for 90 days. Just tell him, shut up, eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and lay off the dairy except for butter, because all the other dairy is going to have the casein in the waste, which for many people are inflammatory and will cause phlegm and snot and congestion in the nasal passages. So beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, try it for 90 days. I think your brother will be very happy with both his mental improvement and his nasal improvement. Cheek. Hello, you said before my husband's high cholesterol of 205 is protecting my husband's kidney, high creatinine. I don't remember saying that. Cholesterol of 205 is not hurting your husband. It may be protecting something, but I don't know if that's true or not. high creatinine of 1.58 and EGFR is low at 54. So he has chronic kidney disease. What did you mean by that? And should he check his protein in urine? Yeah, he should have his kidney labs checked every 3 months at least, and figure out what stage of chronic kidney disease he has. And then he needs to eat a very, very low carbohydrate diet to protect his remaining kidney function. That's what I've said in the past and what I'll say again.
First 100 says, thank you for speaking up back when carnivore wasn't popular, which was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a minute.
About a handful of people doing carnivore. Sean Baker, one of the pioneers of carnivore. I think that's how you found out about it.
Yeah, Sean Baker and Paul Saladino. And those are the first guys that I reached out to and said, hey, tell me more about this. Catherine, I gave birth 3 months ago, and I'm expecting I'm experiencing a pretty bad psoriasis and eczema flare-up. Will going on keto or carnivore decrease my milk supply?
We've had so many questions.
Not if.
You decrease the carbohydrates slowly over about 6 weeks. And if you ever feel like your supply is dipping, again, put baby to the breast or get, if you're 3 months, you can use your electric pump. I'll tell you when the highest point is when the hormones are like milk, make the milk from the hours of 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. I know that sucks. Okay.
Why? Why?
You do not have to do that. But if you're like, I feel like I'm losing supply, those are the hours. Just set an alarm and put in a little 30-minute, 15 to 30-minute pumping session. Drink some water while you're doing it. Make sure you have electrolytes in there. You want to boost that salt intake.
Yeah, or just sleep with your baby. It's perfectly safe and fine and natural to sleep with your baby unless you're drunk or high. Then don't sleep with your baby. But co-sleeping is ancestrally appropriate. There's no problem with that. That way, when the alarm goes off, you can just go.
But I would say, Catherine, it could be your hormones are causing the psoriasis and eczema.
More than likely.
More than anything. But if you just cut the dairy down, that's probably going to help things So don't think you have to go carnivore overnight. Start cutting out the dairy first.
Dairy and grains. Exactly. Yeah. Dairy and grains need to be the first things to go. All the dairy except for butter. But it's grains and it's dairy. Neisha's exactly right.
Oh, you always come hang out with me on my YouTube channel. I'm going to do a live next week. So public. I do lives in the group all the time.
This is William. Does fermented food add any value in the proper human diet other than variety? Listen carefully, guys. This is important. Does fermented food add any value in the proper human diet? No, it doesn't add any value whatsoever. The only reason our ancestors accidentally learned to ferment food, dairy and vegetables and other things, and then kept doing it is because it makes certain foods less inflammatory.
And they taste good if you like that.
It tastes good. That's right. But it does not create any magical nutrition at all. There's no magic in fermentation. It's just bacteria basically eating and pre-digesting the stuff before you eat it. That's what fermentation is.
There is magic if you're eating grains and things like that.
Of course. It makes it less inflammatory.
That's how we came as humans to have fermented foods to combat the gastrointestinal problems that we had from
when the milk accidentally fermented the first time and they were starving, they're like, well, hell, I guess we'll eat it or die. And they're like, hey, Bubba, usually when he eats milk, he just has the shits for a week. He ate this chunky, thick milk, and he didn't have the shits.
So I do think there's magic in it to combat things that you would have if you weren't eating mostly meat and low oxalate, low FODMAP, whatever.
Exactly, yes. So exactly. It just makes the food less inflammatory. And so nuts, grains, beans, soybean, all that stuff, yes, ferment the hell out of it. But it's not going to make any magic happen. It just makes it less inflammatory.
I like the way it tastes.
You like to call it.
Yeah, I love kimchi.
Yeah, me too.
Kimchi
the stinkier, the better, right?
I just love kimchi.
If you open a jar of kimchi and you're not like, damn it, it's not good kimchi.
No, but I think it doesn't even offend me. It smells amazing. I love the smell of kimchi. If you've had real kimchi, you know what I'm talking about. It's
Goody home. Curious about pancreatitis on carnivore. Doc says low-fat diet is carnivore. Doc says eat a low-fat diet. Is carnivore safe with pancreatitis? So a low-fat diet in no way protects you from pancreatitis. I don't know where your doc. Ask your doc for the research that proves that, because I've never seen that research, and I've been looking for a few years now. you need to be eating a very, very low carbohydrate diet, and you need to avoid all alcohol, all over-the-counter pain relief medications, really any pill. If you cannot take it, don't take it, because your pancreas does not like that. But alcohol is your biggest enemy. If you're smoking, stop smoking. That can make you increase your risk of pancreatitis. And then eat as low carbohydrate as you possibly can.
Sharon Richardson says, "Oh, Dr. Burt, I'm so happy to hear you say that co-sleeping is good. You've helped thousands of parents." Now, okay, cool, but let's just take a moment to realize that he is a man. And when he says co-sleeping, do you think that my baby slept up his butt or up my butt?
I'm not saying is it easier to co-sleep? Because you did
it depends on the baby.
Right.
Okay? That kid, if I could go back in time, I would co-sleep for like the first 6 to 12 weeks and then find him a nice little bassinet. Okay? Bonnie, on the other hand, we could have co-slept forever and it would have been fine. I did not sleep for the still don't sleep because of Beckett Berry.
He's the most needy baby ever.
So just if you're a mom and you're like, co-sleep does not work for me, that's okay.
That's fine. Yes,
okay?
yes,
You
yes.
need to rest. You need the sleep.
Yes, but don't not co-sleep
because you think it's
because you've been told, oh my God. Unless you're drunk or high, then don't co-sleep.
Sure.
Yes.
But like, just know, as a mom, I've experienced two different types of children. One that was amazing to co-sleep with and one that like almost killed me.
She's not lying. Taxi Maxi, 45-year-old female, tried to go carnivore a couple of months ago, was okay, but on day 4 was vomiting and had headaches. Also felt weak. Sounds like you had a viral gastroenteritis. So I freaked out and stopped as I'm driving for a living. Oh, I totally understand. But that was 99% coincidental. You probably had a virus, right? Something that was off a little bit. I would try it again. And maybe don't go full carnivore overnight. Maybe just keep cutting the carbs and keep cutting up the meat until you're full carnivore. Just do it slowly. But I think that was coincidental.
All right. We got 3 minutes left.
Always be kind. I almost said always blind. My stomach always hurts and terribly nauseous. The only thing that helped in the past was a Coke. I'm about to give in. Help. I wish you'd tell me what kind of diet you're eating, how long this has been going on. If you're having this, you need to go see your doctor, first of all. This may or may not have anything to do with your diet. You may have an undiagnosed gastric condition. Go see your doctor and get thoroughly evaluated, plus or minus an EGD, plus or minus a colonoscopy, plus or minus other diagnostic testing. This probably has nothing to do with your diet. Big Sky Homestead. Oh, I'll have to check out your channel. I was measuring and actually the inches stopped changing after a few months, but the scale was still going down. I'm confused. Is there an explanation? You're putting on muscle, and sometimes that will show up with the measuring tape. It will always show up with the scale. Sometimes the measuring tape gets stretched out over time from you stretching it, trying to make the number smaller and smaller. Maybe that happened. I'm not sure. But for 99% of people, the inches are falling off, even though the scale may or may not be changing in the right direction.
Sharon says, is keto chow okay on Ketovore? Every time I eat it, I feel tired. If you feel tired when you eat something that is a product, no matter what anybody says on the internet, stop using that.
Yes.
It's a product. It's a completely unnecessary addition to your way of eating, whether that's keto, Ketovore, carnivore, whatever. If it's a product and it is not making you feel better and making you feel worse, stop.
Yep. Max, I am 23-year-old male, type 1 diabetic, have been Ketovore for 6 months and had wonderful success lowering my A1C from 6.6 down to 5.3. This is a 23-year-old type 1 diabetic with an A1C of 5.3. Do you guys know how rare that is? The only way for a type 1 diabetic to do that is to eat keto, Ketovore, or carnivore. There's no other way to do it. You cannot inject enough insulin safely to get your A1C that low. My LDL cholesterol was 1,106 last week. My doctor freaked out. Am I at risk? Max, let me just tell you, watch my video called How Not to Have a Heart Attack on YouTube. It will help you understand your previous type 1 diabetes with your A1C 6.6 is 10 to 20 times more dangerous than having high LDL cholesterol, okay? You may be a lean mass hyperresponder. You didn't tell me your height and weight, so I don't know for sure. If you think you might be, then check out the work of Dr. Nick Norwitz, Norwitz, WITZ, and Dave Feldman. They talk about lean mass hyperresponders, and they're doing research about that. But you're so much healthier now with an A1C of 5.3. You have such a reduced risk of the terrible complications of type 1 diabetes. You need to keep doing exactly what you're doing and learn more about lean mass hyperresponders, and don't let your doctor freak you out.
All right, guys, that is the hour. If we didn't get to your question, we apologize, but we only have 60 minutes and we try to do the best that we can.
Yep.
If you want more of us, we'll be here next Monday, or you can come join the PhD community. There's a link in the description. You can go to drbrady.com/community if you want to join the January Consistency Challenge, kick off the new year with myself, Dr. Berry, and our pro coaches and our essential coaches. You get access to 3 additional live streams, Q&A sessions.
Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central, I'll be live in the private group.
You also get, if you're in the pro challenge group, you get a Zoom call where you can actually see and talk to Dr. Berry once a week. So every week on Wednesdays at 6 Central Standard Time, he does a Zoom call. And that's just an additional layer of support. If you're okay doing self-starter, we'll be right here on YouTube. But if you need another layer of support, check out our different levels, essentials, and pro challenge communities. Again, drbrady.com/community.
Absolutely. Thanks for hanging out. Share this video on your way out.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.